It is a huge honor today to be podcast interviewing Kristina Hyatt, who's a hygienist for the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians Children's Dental Program. She was the Miss Native American USA 2015 and 2016. She's 26 years old. Kristina Lynn Hyatt of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians from Cherokee, North Carolina. Hyatt was crowned on August 8, 2015 at our fourth annual MNA, and that's the
Miss Native American
Miss
USA.
Native American USA. See, if you would have had me be a judge, I would have already known that. And it was held in Tempe, Arizona, which is right up the street from me, and that's where I went to ASU. A former Miss Cherokee title holder, Hyatt holds a bachelor's degree in business management from the University of North Carolina, Asheville, and received an associate's degree in applied science, dental hygiene, from Asheville-Buncombe Technical Community College. She's a dental hygienist at the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians Children's Dental Program, and her mission is to educate the Native American communities about the importance of dental hygiene. She's the daughter of Lavon and Gloria Hyatt of North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So that is just amazing. So first I gotta find. I never won any beauty contests. Is it because I don't have enough hair? How was that to win that title? Was that just a blast?
It definitely was. That was the first national pageant that I have competed in. So I kind of went into it, not really expecting to win, just more so going for the experience and just to see, if I could do it. And I went and I told my mom right away because I'm well aware of how important dental health is and how many issues we have throughout Indian country with our Native American children. And I told Mom, as a dental hygienist, this would be the perfect opportunity for me to make my voice heard and to help educate the Native American communities about the importance of oral health. And that's exactly what I've done throughout my reign.
That is so cool. Are you still going to do it again? Are you still going to compete again, or is that a one-time deal? Or
yeah, that's probably going to be my last pageant that I'll compete in because I'm 27 now. So I figure, that's it for me.
So how old were you when you started competing?
The first pageant that I competed in, I was probably around 7 or 8. I competed for the Little Miss Cherokee pageant 2 times, and I didn't win. I've always been a pretty shy person.
Yeah.
And back then, in some of the pictures that were taken, you could just see the stage fright in my eyes, and the second time I competed, I was able to get first runner-up, and then after that, I was kind of done with it. But then later on, as I got older, I decided that public speaking and winning a pageant was something that I wanted to accomplish, and I wanted to overcome my fear of public speaking, and that's exactly what I've done. So
that is just so cool, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to confront your fears, whether it's afraid of water, you're supposed to take swimming lessons, or you're afraid of heights. That's what a great way to immerse yourself into public speaking. So there's 326 Indian reservations for 567 recognized tribes. So is Cherokee mostly in North Carolina? Because I'm in Arizona with I think almost a third of the state is Indian reservation. I think there's 18 different reservations in Arizona. So is Cherokee mostly Northeast?
well, I'm not sure. Have you heard about the Trail of Tears at all? Are you familiar with it?
Absolutely.
So the people in Cherokee, North Carolina, my ancestors were the ones who were able to escape and basically hide out in the mountains, and that's how we were able to stay there and still be there today. But through the Trail of Tears, several of the people were moved out to Oklahoma, so you have the Western Cherokees there. And we do a lot of, events together where we'll come together just, to acknowledge the fact that we are, related and there are people, So
That was one of the greater human rights atrocities of all time. When you read the literature of like who's it? Christopher Columbus. I mean, he was a complete sociopath. I mean, he was a sociopath beyond sociopaths. I mean, it was amazingly. And then in Arizona, it's so sad because the Indians they were moved out here. They started to form agricultural societies, and then the federal government decided they were going to dam up all the rivers and lakes, and this irrigation system turned all their farms to drought, and then started sending them welfare food stamps and prepackaged foods, and that in turn has wrecked their diet, causing obesity, teeth, everything. I mean, they basically, basically the Hoover Dam turned them from farmers into just receiving packaged food.
Yeah.
So what are you see what special needs do you see with the American Indian community that is different than other communities?
Well, I've had the opportunity to visit Pine Ridge Reservation recently at the end of February. I think I told you a little bit about the Smile Drive project that I have kind of been working on in collaboration with America's Tooth Fairy. During the month of February, what happens with the Smile Drive is you collect oral health products such as toothbrushes, toothpaste, and floss to distribute to underprivileged children. And I was able to do one of those Smile Drives last year in Cherokee for my hometown, and it was very successful. And one of my goals as Miss Native American USA was to do another Smile Drive that would benefit and reach out to as many Native American children throughout the United States as possible. So, whenever we started getting everything together, collecting donations, I decided that the Pine Ridge Reservation was somewhere, that I definitely wanted to visit while being Miss Native American USA. So we were able to get that together, and we visited, and we're able to reach out to over 2,000 kids. I did oral health presentations where we just talked about the importance of oral health and just also provided words of encouragement. And I'm not sure, are you familiar with Pine Ridge Reservation at all in South Dakota?
No.
No. Okay. So, how I became familiar with it, a lot of times throughout social media or through the different news outlets, you hear a lot of the negative aspects of Pine Ridge. And a lot of people, they live in extreme poverty there. And that's what you hear about. So I thought, well, I'm going to go see, and I'm going to go visit, and I'm going to see if there's anything that I can do to help or whatever, because I think it's very important that as Native American people that we work together, and help one another and lift each other up. So that's what I did. I went there and I visited with the kids, and I hugged every single one that I could. On the second day, I was so sick because I wasn't used to being around so many kids in the room. But I do not regret any one of those hugs. And as I've told other people, those children there on the Pine Ridge Reservation reminded me so much of the children back home in Cherokee. And they are just so precious and sweet and have so much potential. And it's just a matter of someone believing in them and encouraging them and motivating them to go after their dreams, each of them. But I learned a lot about access to care issues, especially dental care. Well, while we were visiting the different schools, I was able to, are you familiar with Delta Dental?
Yes.
The Delta Dental program. Delta Dental just so happened to be at one of the schools that I was visiting, and they were there providing care for kids at that school. And I was so excited to hear that they were there, and so excited to meet with other dental professionals. And another thing was, one of their dental hygienists she was Native American as well. And to me that was so exciting because it's not every day that you meet, a fellow Native American dental hygienist. I think I've met one that, that works back in my hometown. And she's actually one of my role models that I've, she's the one that has really guided me and gotten me interested in the dental field. But I got to talk to them and visit with them and share stories and just to hear about everything and how access to care is such a problem for them. We couldn't help but break down and cry. And it just makes you want to do anything you can to help those kids because, I mean, I'm sure you have experienced that stuff. Like whenever you hear that a child has to be referred out like 2.5 miles away or 2.5 hours away, and when they're already living in poverty, a lot of times they're not going to be able to get to that appointment or whatever. So after learning about all of that and trying to learn about how Native Americans are really pushing to implement dental therapists, that is one of the issues that I definitely want to help promote throughout Indian country.
That is so cool. I just love your passion. You're just oozing with passion. So, have you ever met a Native American dentist?
Oh, that is a good question. And I don't think I have. I haven't.
He's in Arizona. I've had dinner with him several times. I'm sorry I don't remember the name because it's not a familiar name.
Uh-huh.
It's hard for me to remember. But he is he I don't know how old he is. I better not say I might get in trouble. Maybe probably between 60 and 70.
Uh-huh.
And he's really involved with the Arizona Dental School, the AT Still Dental School in Mesa, Arizona. And
Uh-huh.
he was the first one, and he's motivated a dozen after him over the last 20 years to come
Yeah.
down and become a dentist and or a hygienist, and he's a real role model. So is access to care, you feel, the biggest issue?
I think it is, but also I know that I feel like we could do more as far as prevention and getting out and educating people, and that's another one of my goals is to try to get, you know, people that aren't necessarily dental professionals, but people that are big role models in the kids' lives, like teachers or, these the people that work at the daycares or the summer camps during the summer, youth centers. I think that would help a lot. Just getting them on the same page, helping them to realize how important dental health is. That way, they could be educating the kids and the parents as well. I think that would make a huge difference.
And and dentists and hygienists need to be reminded, and dental assistants and everyone, that you don't have to go to another country or another continent to do missionary dentistry, charitable dentistry. I mean, it's right here in your backyard. I remember the first one I did was at the Guadalupe Indian Reservation, and it was just so fun and so rewarding. And the best part about it, it was only a 10-minute drive. you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
you didn't have to fly to Tanzania or anything.
Yeah.
So there's just so much need right here in America. So so when you talk about prevention, what do you think they have a higher decay rate?
Absolutely. I do. And then, I mean, just some of the kids that come through our dental clinic, you see a lot. And I'm fortunate to have, I work with kids that are in the braces program. Our tribe is fortunate to be able to, provide orthodontic treatment for the kids that need it. So my job is to make sure that those kids are coming to the dental clinic to have their teeth cleaned, to make sure that they're brushing and flossing correctly, because as you know, orthodontics can go on and yeah, you expect a great result as far as the teeth being straight, but if you don't take care of your teeth while the braces are on, it could be a complete disaster once they come off, and you can have cavities on every single tooth. So my job is to try to prevent that. So we work really hard, to prevent that from happening because we've seen it before.
So, do you think a lot of the higher decay is because they don't have water fluoridation, or do you think they drink more soda or consume more sugar, or do you think it's or just a lot of issues? Because I know in Arizona, all my dentist friends that work on the Indian reservation says they have way higher amounts of diabetes and obesity too,
Mm-hmm.
which there's no simple one reason. I mean, it's genetics, environment, diet. There's so many variables involved. What do you think the major variables are of having a higher decay rate?
Um, well, from what I've seen, I see a lot of just poor oral hygiene, and I'll have some kids that come in and they don't brush their teeth, and they'll tell you that they just don't brush their teeth. And I think that a lot of it, is going to start with the parent or the role model or the guardian in the home. If a 5-year-old doesn't have an adult figure, explaining to them and telling them, you need to go brush your teeth and this is why, or if they don't follow up to make sure that they brushed adequately, then they don't know. And if they're not going to the dentist, they're not going to have a hygienist or a dentist explaining that to them. So they just kind of grow up not realizing the importance of it a lot of times. And then also with, I think a lot of kids tend to drink soda these days. And if you're not brushing your teeth and you're drinking soda, obviously you're going to get decay.
Well, every time I read research on like why like you go to Europe or they women don't shave their legs, then you come to the United States they do, and all the research I've read shows that you just do basically what your mom did. So when moms tell me, well, I can't get little Johnny to brush, the bottom line is if little Johnny was seeing mom every night brushing and flossing and doing her routine, he would be trying his hardest to do it at 1 years old, 18 months, 2 years old. They all they do is copy their parents. And if they see mom shaving her legs, they grow up and shave their legs. If mom did not use mouthwash, the baby doesn't use. I mean, they pretty much it's all learned behavior. So their parents and guardians. It's a long tradition. I mean, I grew up in a family where basically all my relatives had dentures before they got out of high school, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a new deal. Is the family unit in on these Indian reservations about the same as outside of the reservation? I mean, America's got about a 50% divorce rate. I mean, is it about the same there, or how would you compare the family unit compared on a reservation to outside the reservation in America?
I know that, and I'm not going to say for every single family, you can't
Right.
talk about one and then just assume that every single family is like that because that's not the case. But there are more and more broken homes, and there are more and more grandparents having to step in and raise the children, and it's sad to see that. And I think that could have a lot to do with it as well because, as grandparents get older, a lot of times they're not able to step in and do a lot of things that they could when they were younger parents. Um, so simple things like trying to make sure a child is brushing their teeth, they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that they're being fed and that they have clothes on their back and everything like that. So one time someone made the comment that if, when somebody has a lot more things going on in their life, such as wondering where your next meal's going to come from, brushing your teeth is going to be the last thing that's on your mind. So unfortunately, I think that is the case a lot of times. So I think that, as you said, it's very important that with these younger generations, they need to know how important it is that if you have kids, step up and take care of your kids, and your family is number one. And it's important that as families we all come together. And when they say that it takes a village to raise a child back home, that is one thing that I can say, that if there's a child that doesn't have their parent, in the picture and stepping up and being that role model that they need, they have relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins that will step up and do the job. So I'm very grateful that in my community that's how it is, because you're always going to have somebody that will care for a child.
Yeah, and there was a woman politician a decade back that said it takes a village to raise a child. Her name was Hillary Clinton, and when she said that, so many people made fun of that. And when I heard them making fun of that and saying how bad it was, mostly the Republicans, I just thought you'd have to be an ignorant animal not to understand the wisdom and that it does take a village. It's amazing. And interesting thing in Arizona, the Guadalupe Indian Reservation has fluoridated water because it uses Phoenix water and Tempe water. But it's amazing how you go to Singapore where they do have water fluoridation, and you go to Tokyo and they don't have water fluoridation, and both of them have had falling decay rates for the last 10, 20 years. I'm really, really convinced more than ever that it is the disruption of the biofilm from brushing and flossing. I'm a classic example. I eat more bad food than a dentist should have the right to. I am, everybody's got to have a vice, and I just love food. That's my vice. And, but I haven't had a cavity in, 30 years. So I'm a class example. I could eat all the bad sugar and all that stuff like that and no decay. I really do think more than ever it's a biofilm issue. It's home care, and I think what you're doing with Smile Drive. By the way, we have a magazine that goes to all 125,000 dentists each month called Dental Town. We got the Ortho Town that goes to all 10,000 orthodontists. They both have websites. If you want us to help you organize your Smile Drive or your campaign. So how long are you, but if anything that you want to do, if you want to do a project for any of this, because there's so many hygienists and assistants and dentists and on Dental Town and Ortho Town that would love to get behind you.
Well, I had planned a trip to New Mexico to visit Acoma Pueblo and Owinga Pueblo last week. To do Smile Drive efforts, they wanted me to visit some of the classrooms, and then Acoma Pueblo had actually planned a health fair for their community and for the children that focused on the importance of dental hygiene, which when I heard about that, I was just tickled pink because, they stepped out and they went above and beyond in trying to organize that event. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go. I had to cancel that trip because I think I mentioned to you and your son, my dad has been sick and he's been in Duke Hospital. So I had to cancel that trip. But as soon as I'm able and as soon as my family, is okay, I'm going to try to reschedule that trip, hopefully before August, because August is when my reign will be up as Miss Native American USA.
I'm sorry about your father. But you think he's going to do okay?
Well, we need prayers. We sure do. They're taking him home this evening. So, but we need prayers. I'm
so sorry, and I hope you're fine, and sending prayers your way. Anything on these Smile Drive trips, like you could tell me you're going there, and you could post that on Dental Town and have other townies meet you there, or you could send me an email, Howard at Dental Town, and I could send it to my buddies in Albuquerque. I know a bunch of dentists over there that would love to help you. So who's helping you raise money or get toothbrush and flosses, or a dental company that's helping you, or?
Well, we were actually able to team up. A lot of people and programs within my community came together and stepped up and helped the Cherokee Elementary School students. Their Sacred Path, they decided to participate, and they were able to collect so many products. You know, the kids, they sent out letters to the parents, and the kids would bring in products. And I think it was really good to have those kids involved. And whenever I was able to go to Pine Ridge, I was able to tell those kids, you know, these products, the toothbrush and the toothpaste, is from, you know, a child in Cherokee. And I think, you know, the kids would just smile and their eyes would light up. And I think they thought that was really neat, that a child on another reservation, you know, wanted to help and wanted to make sure that they have a healthy smile. And then also just several different programs. You know, they would send out little emails and collect products and everything. But with my dad's health, things have kind of been halted for a bit. So, but really the big trip was the Pine Ridge one, and now it's just kind of a wait and see how things go.
And you chose that one because you thought that was that was in the media the most. That was the poorest and the people that needed the most help. You thought Pine Ridge probably needed the most help.
Well, that was just where I wanted to start, because I wanted to visit, because you always, like I told you earlier, what you see in the media, sometimes you never know. You know, I wanted to visit them for myself, and I wanted to see the people, learn more about the people, and learn more about their culture and just everything about everyday life, and to see if there was anything I could do to help. And that's where I wanted to go.
How do you feel media? I mean, basically, in the United States, down to two, Fox News and CNN. How do you think they portrayed the American Indian, their community? You know, did you think it's good, fair, or biased, or?
I think a lot of times issues throughout Indian country tend to be overlooked a lot of times, and it's really good to see people like Mrs. Universe. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Mrs. Universe, Ashley Collingbull from Canada. She has been able to really speak out a lot and just represent Native Americans in a good way and really make a voice for them. But I think that a lot of times I don't know. That's a really.
It sounds like what you were saying is that the media doesn't focus enough on them, that they kind of get skipped over.
I personally feel like they do.
Yeah.
And I feel like the only time that light is shed on Native Americans is when it's negativity, like negative stories in our communities. That's when they don't want to show the positive things.
Well, that's all news. You know, anytime
Right.
a dentist is in the newspaper, it's because someone died in the under anesthesia,
Right.
or you know, every time there's a dentist in a movie, what is he? He's a quack,
Mhm.
murderer. I mean,
Right.
I've never seen a dentist in a movie made in America portrayed like a superhero. They're always a psycho, crazy person.
Yeah, well, I agree. You're totally
So
right.
what do you the one thing they're always talking about in the media is the Washington Redskins. What is your view on the Washington Redskins name and logo?
Well, I mean,
Now you're biased. You're from North Carolina, so you're a Panther woman, I assume, right?
I am. I like the Panthers.
So this might be a little biased against the Redskins because she's a Carolina Panthers fan. But what is your expert opinion on that? Being Native American.
In my opinion, you know, a lot of Native Americans find it to be disrespectful, and just with everything, you know, some people do mean it in a disrespectful way, and some people they don't look at it that way. So I think it's just the way that you wanna see it, if that makes sense. And I've always been the type of person, what an optimist. I like to see the good. I want to see the good in everything. So if you lay it out, I'm going to try to just look into it, and I'm going to try to find good things about it. But, you know, it really just depends on the person that is providing the information, I think.
Do you think they should change the name?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they should.
And so many Fortune 500 companies change their names. They change their names all the time. Like Marlboro just changed their name to what? Atria, was it? Or Altia or something like that. But lots of companies do that. What would be your dream help on? Well, do you think you'll get to Albuquerque before during your reign?
To Albuquerque?
I mean to New Mexico.
Oh, to New Mexico. I think so. I'm just not sure on a date just yet. We haven't been able to reschedule that just yet.
And who pays your plane ticket? Does the Miss Native American fly you there? Do they have budgets for stuff like that, or
They have budgets, but like for Pine Ridge, I kind of had to raise money for a lot of the stuff. My family has had to raise money to cover the
well, you know how
expense.
you could raise money the easiest. All you have to do is Dental Town has 210,000 dentists. It has
Uh-huh.
50 different categories, root canals, fillings, crowns, hygienists, everything. But one of them is humanitarian dentistry. And if you went under humanitarian dentistry, people are always posting and saying, we're doing a mission trip to this country, this place, whatever. We need volunteers, we need supplies, we need whatever. And
Mhm.
a lot of dentists, they're thinking is, you know what? I really don't have time to go there, but I feel better if I chip in some coin on the
Uh-huh.
deal. And I'm sure with your pretty face and Miss Native American USA, I'm sure if I put my face up there, I wouldn't get a penny. But I have a feeling that if you put your face up there, you'd make bank.
Oh,
Don't you
okay.
think? I know my homies on Dental Town, and they're a bunch of old, fat, bald dentists. So when Miss Native American pops up and says, "I need some money for the deal," I know they're gonna absolutely. You're gonna get all your dreams come true on there.
Yeah.
And and
Okay.
and if you want me to push it out on social media, I have a 500,000 social media connections. I think I got. But you can, if you ever email me, howard@dentaltown.com, and say I'm this is what I need, or these are supplies, or raising money. I'll push it out on social media too, on
Okay.
Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that stuff.
Okay. Great.
So I just where do you think your passion comes from? I mean, how come you don't see this as some hygienists and dentists, they look at it as like an 8 to 5 job, and the first thing they look forward to all morning is lunch, and then as soon as lunch is over, the only thing they look forward to is 5 o'clock. Where do you think you find your passion? I mean, you just reek of passion. Where do you think that comes from?
Well, I personally, I believe that being a dental hygienist is just exactly what I was meant to do, because um, I developed my interest in dental hygiene in high school, back when we had like a career day and you're supposed to pick a career that you're interested in. So I had no idea, but I decided that, well, maybe I should just want to be a dental hygienist because scrubs are cute. That was
Really,
my
that was the deal?
yes, honestly. So then I decided to do like an internship one summer where I was able to shadow Gail Guilford, and she was a dental hygienist then. And I just seeing everything that she did and the community outreach, that's what really got me thinking I wanted to be that. But then my dad, he made the comment, he was like, "Are you sure you want to work in nasty mouths for the rest of your life?" And I hadn't thought of it in that sense, but I was like, "You're right. I probably don't." So that's why I went to UNCA right out of high school to get a business management degree. When I was a senior, we had to do an internship, and I still wonder, I kind of feel like I want to try to be a dental hygienist because there was just that feeling. So I did another internship with Mission Children's Hospital, the dental program there, and I was able to observe some of the dentists and do research, and that's when I started learning about just kids and how they need people that are going to care about them and their teeth. And before that internship, I was totally against working with kids, especially in dentistry. But after that internship, that's where my heart was. Like, I wanted to help the kids because I want to be that person that they could go to or look up to whenever they don't have that parent or that good role model in their home to, educate them about the importance of their teeth. So, I mean, I was a senior at UNCA when I decided to start taking the prerequisites for dental hygiene to even apply. It was so hard. That semester was hard, and I didn't know. I was trying to graduate from UNCA. I was trying to get into the dental hygiene program, and I didn't think I was going to survive that semester. But, I prayed about it, and when it was all said and done, I was able to graduate from UNCA. I applied to the dental hygiene program, and then that summer, I was offered a full-time job with my tribe, and I think it was that same week I received my acceptance letter into the dental hygiene program. So that was a tough decision. I had to decide, do I want to go back to school or do I want to start making money? And I prayed about it and prayed about it, and I went back to school. And I just feel like everything, has worked out how it was meant to.
That is so awesome. I want to, I have a master's in business from ASU, and I want to know you're in business management. Do you think that tribes that are very close to a large city, do you think they have much more economic opportunity than some of these reservations that are several hours away from other towns? Do you think the geography plays a major role in their success?
I would personally say that it does, because like where I'm from, you have some, like Asheville is a pretty big city, and it's maybe an hour away, but you have a lot of people. Also, Tennessee, Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge is just right over the mountain from us, so we're able to have a lot of people coming from those areas coming through Cherokee, and that's able to, I think that helps a lot. But then some of these reservations that are in the middle of nowhere, and they don't, it's kind of like people may not even want to go out of their way to go through their towns and everything.
Do you think when state governments give them privileges like to have a casino, do you think that's an economic boom where there's more money for like dental hygiene and things like that, or do you think do you think casinos on reservations are a good thing or a bad thing overall?
Well, with our casino, it has definitely helped our people because we're able to utilize those funds in a positive way, to provide several different programs for, whether it's the diabetes clinics or other different, clinics and programs to help our people and to help the children. For example, with my job, we're able to provide our kids with the program to where if they need orthodontic treatment, we're able to give that to them. So definitely, I think it helps.
So do you feel the casinos? Do you feel you get more money from the casinos than from the national? From the what is it? The National Indian or what is the branch called in Washington D.C. The Bureau of Indian Affairs, BIA.
I really, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can't answer that
So
question.
so casinos have been a good thing in your opinion then?
Yes, yeah.
Because I know I remember. See, I'm old enough to be your. I don't know if at 53 I could be your dad and possibly your grandpa. I'm between your dad and grandpa. Because when they started the debate, a lot of people were thinking they didn't want a casino anywhere because they thought it would increase, gambling aholics or drinking or all that, vices. But you think it's been a net positive?
I mean, of course, I see those sides of it too because I'm totally against, you know, alcohol and all of that, the gambling problems. I mean, they are real problems. But as when you're talking about it though, from a financial view, I mean, it has helped. At the same time, I'm totally against like alcohol sales and all of that.
So
So
you so
I,
you
I
don't you
been
personally
on
don't drink?
no,
I wonder if that's
no.
why you're so beautiful and I'm not. Ryan, I think I should not drink beer anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I joke a lot, but well, we hardly ever drink. I might have one or two drinks a month.
Yeah, maybe like a
Yeah,
social.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's me, and it's never in the house. It's always at
Right.
some deal, and a lot of times, when you go to dinner, someone will just order a round of beers or whatever. So I would love to do an article on your brain. I think that would be great. If you ever want to send us an article or whatever, talk about your smile drive. Like say, we'd love to have for Dental Time Magazine. I think you're a very special person and I love your passion. I love your enthusiasm, and I think you would be a great role model for so many dentists and hygienists and assistants. I think a lot of times when people work in dentistry for a long time, they get burnt out. And what's fun with you is you're 26 years old and you're still have that passion and youth, and you haven't got worn out and tired. I'll come back and podcast you when you're 53 and see if you're still smiling from ear to ear like that. But I think you're a fantastic role model. I just love your passion. I love everything about you. I'd like to write a story on you on Dental Town or just anything you need, and like I say, I got a lot of friends in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the dental school out here, particularly AT Still. Their dean is Jack Dillenberg, and he is so in tight with the Indian reservations because, like say, Arizona. I think Arizona has more Indian reservation percentage of Indian reservation than any other state. Isn't that true?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean it's like I think it's like 30%. It's almost a third of the entire state, and these Indian reservations are they're huge. I mean, just absolutely
Yeah.
huge. And it's a large state. Arizona is a very large
Yeah.
state. It's not like Vermont or New Hampshire, which they should combine together and form one state. But but yeah. So yeah. Anything you want to do, Christina? I just think the world of you, and I want to help you any way I can. And if you ever need anything, please let me know. Howard at dentaltown.com or post it on the message boards. And is there anything else you want to say?
Well, I do want to thank you for everything that you're doing. You seem to love what you do, and you're able to, get the word out, and you're able to help share with everyone how important dental health is. And I do want to thank you for that, and thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's an honor, and Ryan and I will be thinking of your father all day. Send him our
Thank
love, and best of luck to you with your dad. Best of luck. Congratulations again on your pageant. That's so darn cool. And like I say, if you ever need anything, post on Dental Town. Email me, Howard at Dental Town, and we're always going to be there for you.
Okay.
All
Thank you
righty.
so much.
Bye bye.